I know. It's 2019, and I'm posting a video comparing Paladins to Overwatch. Now, for the majority of this video, I have some notes written down. I'm trying to do more scripted things just so it's not like I'm just babbling on. So from this point forward for a little bit, I'll be reading off of a script, but this isn't going to be some biased video where I just degrade Overwatch and talk up Paladins and no, even though I have been playing Paladins longer than I play Overwatch, I want to make this non-biased. I've done a lot of research and fact checking, and I've put a lot of time into what I'm about to read you and show you. So, without further ado, I will begin my rant, quote unquote rant. Now, I thought this debate would have died down by now. It's been 3 years and it's going on 4 soon, and I honestly thought it had deflated completely until just recently. Now, Paladins, the champions that have been released, they seem, very original, like Rom's coming out. You don't see a character looking like Rom in Overwatch. He's like some demon abyss lord with like horns, and he just looks weird, to say the least. Now, they're trying High-Res slash Evil Mojo has been trying to get away from some of the things that people said they quote-unquote ripped from Overwatch. Example being the removal of Androxus's Fan the Hammer ability, which is McCree's second attack ability, and Lex's Fire Rate, because it used to be identical to Reaper's. Also, an ability that Ruckus had, and I presume was closed alpha, where he was able to fly just like D.Va does now. Now, with the recent quote unquote leaked images from Blizzard, I feel this debate is going to fire up again, but this time in reverse. This image was leaked and it shows here a screen with Tracer with an ability web. Now, before you go and comment, well, Blizzard has Heroes of the Storm, they have talents. Yes, they have talents, but you must know that while they do have talents, they aren't the same as how Overwatch portrays it here. In Heroes of the Storm, it's more of a MOBA style game, and players choose one talent in their beginning to focus where their future talent buys take them. For example, starting with a stun talent for a certain ability will make talents you pick up in the future of that game revolve around the first ability you chose, where in the leaked photo here, it's closer to the Paladin system, where you pick one talent and it will enhance said ability, with no upgrades or switching once you choose. I say this is closer to Paladins for one reason. Having to unlock the talents themselves as your level progresses, making you able to play different ways the more you play the game. Paladins is the only hero shooter to my knowledge to implement the talent system and mobile style items, that being the item shop in game. Before you say, it's supposed to be only for the PvP mode, or PvE mode, like it says here. Yes, it may be, but they can always start it that way and then just move it into the main game later on. And because they're Blizzard, Evil Mojo slash High-Res probably wouldn't do anything, even if it is a quote-unquote blatant steal. Now, enough with that. I'm sure that Blizzard just quote-unquote leaked these image to start drama on the Paladins debate and deter it from all that Hong Kong drama. Now, let's address the obvious elephant in the room, which is character similarities. This is something that every Paladin slash Overwatch comparison video has, and all besides a couple I've seen are from experienced Overwatch players that are just trying Paladins for the first time, or have very little knowledge of the game, or their videos were made back when Paladins was still in closed slash very early open beta. Now let's start with the design and ability comparisons. Well, now keep in mind Overwatch released their open beta in October 27th of 2015, and Paladins released their open beta on September 16th of 2016, almost a year apart, but Paladins entered into development here. Although Paladins was in development before Overwatch, similarities are glaring. Paladins entered development before Overwatch. For the character comparisons, I'll be researching release date for each given character, and then say the date given. Now, the first comparison I'll be doing is Androxus and Reaper. Androxus, on the left, was released on March 11th, 2016 as a playable champion in Paladins, and Reaper was released on May 24th of 2016 on the Overwatch release date. Now, that's what it said when it popped up. Like I said before, there was still a beta for Overwatch, and Reaper was most likely a playable character, but that's the date it told me when I looked it up. But I'm keeping in mind that, they had beta before the actual game. Now, both characters are very similar in their appearance. They both look very edgy, and they both look like they don't want to be here. They were released around similar times, so if Hi-Rez were to have copied, quote-unquote, the style, they would have had to seen open beta gameplay as well as implement the look, and I don't think there was enough time for, Hi-Rez / Evil Mojo to really do that. Now, Androxus was added as a new champion, and he did not come out with the first stage of playable Paladins. Now, Overwatch recently released a character named Sigma. Now, he is a tank character that has a shield. He has kind of like rockish powers and stuff like that. And when I first saw his model, I thought, this man is doing the same exact pose as Genos from Paladins. Now, I didn't look up their release dates. I didn't think that it was very important because Sigma is brand new, and, Genos has been out for probably like a year and a half now. But this just irks me. I'm not hating on Overwatch at all. I'm not hating on it at all. I love Overwatch. The game is fun. I play Paladins and Overwatch. But this just looks very similar. And I'm only making this video and saying things because of the new, quote-unquote, leaked picture from before. Out of all the past few years of Overwatch fans harassing Paladins players because Paladins, quote-unquote, stole ideas from Overwatch, and they go and do this. I'm not saying that this is a blatant steal. I'm saying that the similarities are very coincidental. Now, with this comparison, I would also like to show you a couple of abilities from these two. First, I'm going to show you Sigma's ultimate. I'm sure you've already seen it, but basically what Sigma does is he lifts people into the air, holds them for a few seconds, and then slams them into the ground.
Air is about to break. The universum singt for me!
Now, I will show you an ability from Genos, which is called Void Grip.
Genos captures and lifts an enemy into the air, dealing damage to them over time. The enemy can escape Genos' Void Grip by using a movement ability to break his control. Doesn't
that look a little similar? Anyway. Now that I've done this, I will close these two out. Now, on to my next comparison. Now, Ashe is a character, I think she was the newest character right behind Sigma. I could be wrong, that's just off the top of my head. I first saw her, I thought her facial features look a lot like Vivian. She's even got the beauty mark. Granted, it's in a different spot. She's got the same eye makeup, and the hair is the same as Leon. I instantly thought, this is Leon and Vivian's love child. And the weapons, they're similar. I'm not going to show it because I'm pretty sure if you want to look it up, just look up Leon gameplay and Ashe gameplay. Their primary weapon shots shoot very similar. And the thing that got me the most about this character wasn't just how it looked, because, the outfit's different, it is robotic, and yes, characters with those facial features, it isn't uncommon. And the name, again, isn't uncommon, even though it's the same name as another Paladins character that's been out for 2 years, but not the point. I know I said this wasn't going to be biased, but now I feel like it's being biased, and I'm sorry. I will try to refrain. Some the similarity that I found the most intriguing was Ash's ultimate Bob. He is a big, beefy looking, he looks like a bodyguard, and she sends him out, and I didn't pull videos up, so I'm sorry. And because it doesn't really pertain to the ult, because Leon's ult isn't this. Now, Leon's been in the game for about 2 years now, in Paladins. And though it isn't direct in her abilities or her ultimate, in the lore, she does have a big bodyguard whose name is Khan, and he is another playable character in game. She is the scion of House Ico, and then Khan is the primus of House Ico. And they share similar titles, and he, in the lore, acts as her bodyguard. So that's why, when they released Ash with Bob, I thought this is a combination of Leon and Vivian from Paladins. They even have the bodyguard. And again, it just seems like very similar, and it just upsets me when Overwatch players say that Paladins copied their game when they do things like Ash and Sigma that show very similar features to the Paladins characters who have been in the game for 1 year plus. I think Vivian's reaching that 1 year or a year and a half mark. Moving on. Points. I'm going to be reciting something I have written in my notes on my phone. I just wanted to briefly talk about the card system and item shop. I'm going to have one of my old videos playing in background, so it's not so much you're having to just listen. You can kind of watch if you want. So basically, at the beginning of a game, you get to choose from 3 talents and then pick a card deck based on your character's abilities and what you'd want to enhance. The second part is the in-game item shop, and that is how you would counter characters in Paladins. Whereas in Overwatch, you can just switch to a character that will counter what the enemy has. Okay. So, let me actually answer this intelligently, since I feel like I've put enough time into Overwatch now that I can actually answer the question of, did Paladins copy Overwatch? Now, you already saw my other comparisons to characters and my kind of status on that. So, I'm just going to start with saying that Overwatch is fairly brainless and all about stick skill. Because of character switching, or at least it was until the locked in roles, but regardless. Where you have to think your way out of problems with Paladins and with loadouts and items, you can just switch to a counter in Overwatch. Characters in Overwatch are very one-dimensional and have pretty set playstyles, where Paladins characters have a lot of flexibility and room for creativity. Crowd control isn't as prevalent in Overwatch, which makes the crowd controls in general much more potent since not everyone has some form or kind of resistance or resilience to it. The time to kill in Overwatch is significantly lower than Paladins, and it's almost frustrating. Obviously, hitboxes in Overwatch are significantly better. Widowmaker and Hanzo shoot bullets, and Strix and Kinessa shoot buildings, but, Hi, Rez. As mentioned, it's significantly harder to one-man in Overwatch because character switching and lack of items. Other team could just switch to a favorable matchup with your character to shut you down, rather than having to coordinate around you, well, unless you're just strictly better than them. There's a much heavier percentage of press triangle to win ultimates in Overwatch, and some of them really don't give you a fair reaction time like Pharah. Maps are graphically superior in Overwatch, and the game doesn't crash every 5 matches. Matchmaking is much better though, but the Paladins rank system makes a lot more sense when it comes to drafting, 1 champion per team rule, and banning characters from the game itself. Overwatch is actively crippling itself with role queues. With everything outside of arcade either already set or soon to be set to lock yourself into a class per game, that heavily defeats the purpose of playing a character switching game. Now, Paladins has made some serious goofs in character picking with events, but never in their main modes like that. Even with this rising in our ranks with frustration over high-res, Overwatch is miles more toxic than Paladins. And high-res seems to care more about whether balance changes are healthy or not, albeit they're fairly bad at it, while Blizzard just kinda goes with whatever the triggered Genji mains about. See the Mercy rework and Brigida nerfs when all situations were easily counterable by just paying attention, or break characters to try and get their Overwatch League usage up. Mei, literally just Mei. Well, the Reaper ult, but still Mei. Overwatch tries to pretend that their lore means something when it clearly doesn't, and Paladins doesn't take itself nearly as seriously. Both sides pander in different ways. Paladins goes out of their way to make most of their characters and skins unnecessarily fanservice-y, while Overwatch fishes for social justice points by slapping inclusion labels on characters without really doing anything to justify it. In short, plus and minus to each, Overwatch has a pretty hard ceiling where you've experienced everything the game has to offer. Paladins has a much higher ceiling because of talents, loadouts, and number of champions. Paladins' gameplay is more strategic and more in-depth. Overwatch is prettier, runs smoother. And the game's handling feels more like Blizzard knows what they're doing, but since launch haven't really cared about much more than the bottom line. While Hi-Rez clearly cares, it's just they're incompetent. I'd say that Paladins is the overall better game, and the two things holding it back are polish and name recognition. If you flip the developers and make the concept and content flow the same, I'm very confident that Overwatch would have amounted to as much as Battleborn. Paladins plays better, has a much more lasting appeal as a pure game. It just runs about as effectively as a sunfish. Now, before all you Overwatch fanboys start saying, "Oh my god, you're just saying that because you like the Paladins more," I'm not. I can play Paladins for hours and get frustrated by one character, and then kind of be like, okay, time to go to Overwatch. Whereas I can be on Overwatch for 2 games and already get pissed off because 3 enemy ultimates auto-aimed me. And they literally just pushed a button to wipe my team. I find it so stupid. But I'm not trying to diss Overwatch, even though I'm pretty sure I have like 10 times. I'm just trying to make a point here with all my comparisons and my long, ranty paragraph. And finally, hopefully, make it clear to a lot of die-hard Overwatch fanboys that Paladins is its own game. It is not just free man's Overwatch. Thank you guys for putting up with me and watching this video. If you did make it to the end, I do appreciate your time, and I hope that you kind of understand where I'm coming from, as I'm tired of just everyone saying, "Oh, Paladins copied Overwatch," but as soon as something remotely looks like Paladins, they're eventually they just go straight into it. Like, nope, Blizzard did it. Nope, Paladins, nope. It's just stupid, and I just hope people can see the comparisons and that Paladins is actually its own game. So, if you did like the video, consider, liking the video. Yes, please. Thank you guys so much for the support. I'm almost at 4K, and I'm open to have mature discussions in the comments, but I'll be ignoring any comment that is just like rude, childish, disrespectful, but I'm up for actual discussions if you guys would like. So, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.